In the ruins of a shattered capital, a new war began, not with tanks or bombers, but with whispers in dimly lit cafes, dead drops beneath park benches, and coded messages folded into cigarette packs. After World War II, Berlin, a city carved into 4 occupation zones by the victors, became the nerve center of a global standoff between democracy and communism. But while politicians postured and generals planned, another war raged in the alleyways, tenements, and tunnels beneath the city. The secret war of spies. Though the Berlin Wall wouldn't rise until 1961, the ideological chasm had already opened years earlier. West Berlin, an island of capitalism deep inside Soviet-controlled East Germany, pulsed with jazz clubs, neon signs, and Western intelligence operatives posing as journalists, diplomats, or businessmen. Just miles away, East Berlin operated under the watchful eye of the Stasi, East Germany's feared secret police, whose motto was chillingly simple: "We must know everything." This proximity made Berlin the perfect espionage playground. Spies could meet in a cafe in Kreuzberg, slip across sectors unnoticed, and vanish into anonymity. Safe houses, ordinary-looking apartments with hidden compartments, escape tunnels, or one-way mirrors dotted both sides of the city. Some belonged to the CIA, others to the KGB. Many were run by the Stasi, embedded so deeply in daily life that neighbors never suspected the quiet schoolteacher next door was filing weekly reports on their phone calls. One of the most audacious operations of the early Cold War was Operation Gold, known to the British as Operation Stopwatch. Conceived in the early 1950 seconds, it involved digging a 1,476-foot tunnel from the basement of a U.S. radar facility in West Berlin straight into the Soviet sector, targeting buried communication cables used by Red Army headquarters. For nearly a year, American and British engineers worked in total secrecy, hauling out hundreds of tons of earth under the guise of building a storage facility. When the tap went live in 1955, it delivered a flood of Soviet military communications, valuable but tragically compromised. Unbeknownst to the West, George Blake, a British MI6 officer stationed in Berlin, had already betrayed the entire operation to the KGB. The Soviets let the tap continue for 11 months, feeding carefully curated misinformation to their enemies. When they finally discovered the tunnel in 1956, they staged a press spectacle denouncing Western aggression while quietly celebrating their own counterintelligence triumph. Defectors, double agents, and the Bridge of Spies. Berlin's most famous crossing, the Glienicke Bridge, became known as the Bridge of Spies. Stretching between Potsdam and West Berlin, it was the chosen site for high-stakes prisoner swaps. Here, in 1962, American U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers, shot down over the USSR in 1960, was exchanged for Rudolf Abel, a Soviet KGB colonel arrested in New York for espionage. The swap, brokered by lawyer James B. Donovan, later inspired Steven Spielberg's film Bridge of Spies, but the bridge saw more than just 2 men. Over the decades, it witnessed the exchange of dozens of agents, dissidents, and political prisoners, each transfer a quiet acknowledgement that the Cold War, for all its nuclear brinkmanship, also operated by unspoken rules of reciprocity. While Western agencies focused on foreign intelligence, the Stasi turned surveillance inward with terrifying efficiency. By the 1980 seconds, they employed 91,000 official officers, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. Their army of unofficial collaborators, IMs, numbered over 170,000, including teachers, Doctors, postal workers, and even children. Every safe house, every intercepted letter, every bugged apartment added to a labyrinthine archive designed to crush dissent before it could form. One Stasi manual advised officers to decompose enemies, psychologically spreading rumors, sabotaging careers, isolating targets socially. The goal wasn't just control, it was preemptive annihilation of trust. After the wall fell in 1989, former East Germans were shocked to discover that friends, lovers, and family members had reported on them for years. The Stasi Records Agency, BSTU, now maintains over 111 kilometers of files, a paper trail of paranoia that still yields revelations today. Though the Cold War ended without a shot fired in Berlin, its ghost lingers. The Checkpoint Charlie Museum stands as a monument to escape attempts and espionage. The Stasi Museum, housed in Erich Mielke's former headquarters, displays interrogation rooms frozen in time, and beneath the city, some tunnels remain sealed, silent witnesses to a war fought not with armies, but with lies, loyalty, and the unbearable weight of secrets. In the end, Berlin's greatest truth is this: it was never just a city divided by concrete and barbed wire. It was divided by silence and stitched back together by the courage of those who dared to speak, act, or simply remember. This is the real story behind Spies, Secrets, and Safe Houses. Not a single event, but a living theater of deception, where history was written in invisible ink, and every citizen, knowingly or not, played a part.